All right, let's see what we got here. We got Greg Said It Live, trying out something different here. Different platform, as you can see, testing everything out, trying to see if I want to do something different, much like the Colorado Buffalo. So I started a few minutes late. Y'all come on in, I'm just checking things out. Come on in the room, come on in the room. Looks different. Got to be willing to try some things different. It's almost like that's the theme of the show. Or not the show, but the season. I'm not on StreamYard. I switched that up. I'm not on Be Live. I didn't quite like some things, but I don't know how I'm gonna like this one here. I'm just trying to get a feel. I don't have my logo and stuff on it. I'm just kind of filling out the user friendliness because I want to do some things. As y'all pay attention, I'm going to be doing some different things. I've done some different things. Y'all seen me do some of the unboxing, some of the different opportunities people put before me. And I've been really looking at this for probably at least a year on how I really want to do this thing. When I got into this space, didn't really have no goals. I had some ideas of what I wanted to do. The Colorado thing was definitely something I wanted to do because um, I was always kind of like some of y'all watching what was going on in the backdrop of everything and seeing how that would go. I know I had something to say, and thanks for a lot of you all who support. Happy Sunday. What's going on? Um, I like the feel of this right here. Just trying to get a feel. As y'all can see, I'm on a different platform. They got their logo on there because it's free, because I ain't paid them a dime yet. But I just really want to get a feel for it and see how it looks. So, it got a different kind of look. It feels kind of sleek to me. I don't know. Is this recorded in 1080 or something? I don't know. But that's what I'm trying out. And it's just fitting with what we're talking about today and what we've been experiencing with the good old Colorado this year. You know, so y'all just keep out on Greg Said It, because Greg said it, like I say, it's bigger than football. And football is just really like the platform of the platform. It's like a metaphor of like really what I want to do. And I don't know. Just take it day by day. And I'm telling you, the Colorado stuff don't really help. Like when I came into it, you had the storylines and everything. You had Shador, Travis, and I knew those big storylines, but I think Prime was the biggest one. I think I always say my cousin argued with me and said, nobody cares. It's just Shador and Travis. And I was like, no, it's really Prime. And I still think it's really Prime. I think they got their gusto from Prime. Travis was going to be a big brand, but I think he learned a lot. I think he picked the right person to go with Coach Prime because he wanted to build his own brand like Prime. And that whole media thing, he's had his own media extension. It started off with Well Off, and he took it to a level for him personally. Shador got his own crew, and everybody doing their thing. I think the whole situation with Shiloh and all of those guys are doing their thing. So it's going to be interesting going forward because I think those guys did a good job of building their brand. And you know, you know, you said, well, that's why I've been with Ohio day one. I mean, that's easy. I mean, you from there, that's fine. It's easy to go. I'm in Georgia. I could easily go with Georgia. I watched Georgia, but I've never been a big Georgia person. Um, Georgia Tech a little bit. I was recruited there, and then my cousin ended up going there years later. He just stopped. He played there last year, his senior year, and so I've always been big. Um, you know, I've always been. I play ball, but I've never been like geeked up on nothing. Like the Falcons are here, so you can't get geeked up. They had a couple good seasons, and last one I kind of like, yeah. Now the Dirty Bird season, I was young, but never really been too just gung ho about anything. Buying no season tickets, trying to go to games. That ain't my thing. I'm not that I'm not that big of a thing. If I was watching Falcons, I'd be watching them like right now and stuff. I don't watch no Falcons. So it's big for me to do this type of thing. Not really being somebody who just jumping around and jacked up on Colorado, a whole bunch of teams. I truly did it with a purpose behind it, and just going forward, that's my whole thing. Like content that's natural to me because this is a side note. A lot of people who do YouTube content, they like trying to figure out what they want to do. Some of y'all may want to do it. It's a journey, like anything, like business. You trying to find your niche. You trying to find uh, what not only what you good at, but what can you do every day that's natural to you, that feels good. And that's the challenge with a lot of people. That's what make people kind of stutter when they're trying to get on that mic. Like, I don't know what I want to do. And I think it's levels to it. I think I'm at that second phase of that. Like, I want to do more, and I can do more, and I can put more time. Somebody said I should put a backdrop. Um, I could do a backdrop probably on this one. That's one of the reasons I'm looking at this platform. I'm probably about 15-20% as far as knowing how this platform works. I have to play with it, but there's some things I want to do. What makes me look at this platform. StreamYard is all right, but StreamYard, I don't know. They just kind of cute with themselves. I'm thinking about this particular platform because they have a little more than some stuff I used before. So that's why I'm playing with this. But it's levels to it. It's levels to getting better. And if you don't go to that next level, you can just kind of stay there. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff I could do with this channel. It's some reasons why I did it, because a lot of the things that I could do in this lane, I didn't necessarily want to do. So, but just looking forward, I may be able to do some different things which will inspire me to do a little more with my platform. As far as the cute stuff. Says subprime D under knows. So yeah, I doubt he don't know, but what do you say? I doubt he don't know. I think he know, but probably not to the level to lead. I don't know. Cool, because I'm gonna say Dre about this next derail. Yeah, yeah. I'm not worried about no Falcons or anything like that. Never have. Watch it a little bit because that's my home team, but it is what it is. But let's get into this game as y'all come on into the room. Whew. I mean, it's a lot that can be said. It's a lot that's had already been said. I think everybody who really, really analyzed Colorado already know what the deal is. I mean, we have talked about many dynamics. Some people have really went in on the particularity, the lack of detail that Colorado has, and that's clear. I mean, um, from a strategic standpoint to how they go about personnel. It's like it's a lot that's missing. And it really shows in the game because I think that's how they lost those tight games. The lack of detail, the lack of preparation make them lose a game like a BYU and a TCU and Georgia Tech. Because almost like it felt like they stumbled into those games. Like, oh shucks, we can win it. And it's like anything that you do in life where you don't really plan for it, just kind of happen. You usually don't be able to, grasp or capture that opportunity because you feel like, man, I wasn't even prepared to be in this situation. So it looks like sabotage. I think it looks a lot like sabotage when you go into a situation that you really wasn't prepared to do something and you expected to do it and you just can't because you don't really have, you got A, but you don't got B and C. You don't have a plan beyond that because it's almost like you almost prepared to lose. And that's for lack of better terms. I mean, that ain't exactly what happened, but that's how I would describe it with Colorado. A lot of the things that they haven't accomplished had a lot to do with the fact that certain situations they weren't prepared to be in. You know, and that's really part of practice, like going over scenarios. And I hate to hear that they only practice an hour a day and all that NCAA stuff. That's just silly to me. They're not pros. I don't know why they limited them guys' practice schedule like that. I know when I was in college, we practiced 3 hours plus a day. That ain't including no film. Maybe that was our 4, 5. I don't know. I know they decreased the time, but one, we ain't had no meetings and all that stuff before. You did that on the field. Everything was done on the field. You watch film or whatever, but it wasn't a bunch of meetings like that. So maybe that takes some of the time. I don't know how they lose so much time to all the shenanigans. But the X's and O's, they clearly lack. They clearly lack the fundamentals of the X's and O's, and they clearly lack the fundamentals of the physical component. They lack repetition in so many ways because that's the only thing that really shows you when you're not prepared for something is repetition. I don't care what sport you play. It's the repetition of a thing that determines if you are prepared to do something. Your lack of reps always show. I don't care if it's baseball, football, basketball. Your lack of reps always show because you just don't look as comfortable. It's not as smooth, and that's one thing Colorado has never looked. It's smooth. When they're running it offense, it looks very rigid and very plain. It's almost like they can't do a lot of extra stuff because they they haven't did enough reps. The receivers running routes, the same wrong way. You running the same routes, and at the same time, you're running into each other. You're running into there's no layers, there's no space. Y'all running into the same area. One guy can cover 2, 3 receivers at a time. You got that going on, and then you wonder why the QB always running for his life. Well, nobody open because the routes. That go back to the receiver coach, and they go back to the plays because it's like it's on an individual skill level, far as you knowing where you need to be. Why are you running your route short, a yard or two short of the first down? Like, who cares? You catch it. It's gonna be a turnover, or it's gonna be fourth down. It's like it's a lot of things that they just lack. That of course the pros should do. I won't say should do it, but Travis, Jimmy, you took them guys for granted. Even Xavier Weaver, a lot of those guys, LaJonte, they playing in the pros right now. And one thing you always heard was they knew what they were doing. It was technician with their routes. And it showed in their record. It showed in their production, and it's showing in their career. But I want to get something really, really clear. Coach Prime keeps saying, and I was going along with it, but it's like it's embarrassment to say at this point, to say that this team is a better team. And you know, last year team was a better team. First he said this team was a better team. Then he said this team had better talent, and the last year was a better team. Both of them wrong. There's no way in the world you can say at this point that last year's team had less talent than this one. When you got guys literally playing in the pros and the receiver, because you ain't got no receivers out there that can touch them guys. We said Sincere Brown, he can't touch none of them guys left last year. None of them slots, none of them. It's just a proven fact. Look at the scoreboard. They can't score. They can't make big plays. They don't have the receiver core that can match them. That's no longer something we can say. They don't have the quarterback. A lot of people try to say, well, this Salter is good as Shedeur. Well, show it. Whether you have a better line or a worse line, Shedeur did it with a worse line. They say this line is not as good. I agree. But so let's say all lines are equal. He still can't produce what Shedeur produced. He's not better. He's never have been better than Shedeur. That's foolishness to even put that out there. Because Shedeur, he did more with less. Now you say he had better receivers. He had better everything. But they trained together. They had the same mindset. And the only thing Shedeur really had a flaw at is dropping back and spinning around, trying to avoid them sacks. Trying to extend plays. He didn't want to throw the ball away as much as you see these guys throwing away. That's his biggest flaw. But his flaw was not accuracy. It was rare that he missed the guy. It was almost like surprise when he missed it versus, oh, here we go again. It was rare that Shedeur missed a wide open man. If he gonna hit him, he gonna hit him short instead of in stride. But he not overthrowing him, and he not skipping out the ground, and he not throwing a bunch of interceptions. A lot of times you really look at Shedeur interceptions, it was because somebody tipped it or his receivers dropped it, and when somebody hand, it's rather he threw it right. He got a few times I remember he just threw it to the man, and it's like, okay, he just misread that. But most of the time somebody tipped the ball or his receivers tipped the ball into another person's hand. Shedeur wasn't just out there just throwing interception. It just shows in his numbers. He wasn't throwing a lot of balls away. Now, he took a lot of sacks because he wasn't willing to throw the ball away. I also feel like if they had gave him, and they had no excuse because they saw what he did with Michael Harrison, did not find him a tight end where he could have some support in the middle of the field and not have to, be always looking for the deep ball. I feel like if he was really prepared with a strong core tight ends and running back play out the backfield and really make sure that he was using that as a escape or even some hot rocks or whatever, I think that would have helped him. But then I think that all go back to this doggone coordinator because he's the common factor. So yeah, clearly Salter is not a Shador. But one thing about it, he put his quarterbacks in some weird positions with his play calling. His sideways passing, sideways running schemes, rarely getting vertical. He puts his quarterbacks in a position where schematically it's not putting no pressure on the opposing team's defense. Just the routes that you're running contradict what you're trying to do. They barely use the middle of the field. They always throwing outside the numbers. The whole doggone receiver core running outside the numbers and deep. They give nowhere where the quarterback can have any type of support. And when you see they putting pressure on your quarterback, I don't really see. Maybe Shador did it more. I don't see a lot of audibles. I don't see a lot of the things that would allow him to read and make adjustments, especially this year. Now, I'm sure Shador, they said he was changing plays, but now you look at the crap that he called this year, you wonder why he would change plays. You always try to put something against Shador, and now you see what it's like without a Shador. Now, there's one thing I don't like, and I ain't no excuse, but it's one thing that I saw last night, and I mentioned it. Y'all pay attention compared to other games that hasn't happened, and that's the number of penalties. I feel like Shador faced the year before, it really last year, they buffered Shador with penalties. Anytime Shador had a big play, they had a big run, you said they couldn't run the ball, it always was a hole. It always was something. A receiver holding or lineman holding anytime they made a big play for the last couple of years. I have not seen that this year, and I made the joke. It's because they're not good, that the ref don't have to do that. But I'm going to tell you, yesterday, it was egregious, the number of penalties called, and we're not going to sit here and act like they did all those penalties, especially when it has not been here. It's not been characteristic of them. Yeah, they did some of those penalties, but you're not going to sit here and say that all of a sudden they're a 14 penalty team. This year, they ain't been doing all them penalties. But it's ironic that all the penalties always show up right in time for big plays, touchdowns, big runs, and I always put them in second and long, third and long. And that's what they did at Shador. Shador was always in a situation where somebody got called for holding. Now, I saw many replays where I always have been, but just for example, yesterday, where they was holding the mess out of our linemen on them replays. And right on the middle of the screen, they don't want to call. They only call like once or twice. But just like you can always call back a big play, you could have called back a big play. They caught one play, I think a touchdown or something, got called back. The game was like way over. But I'm saying they didn't have a lot of plays that interrupted their momentum. They didn't have a lot of plays that took points off their board, especially when they counted most. One thing about Colorado, they always have big plays called back. They always have big runs, touchdowns. They always have even interceptions called back. The man don't pick the ball off everything. Oh, roughing the passer. Man, I don't seen that so many times. Colorado over the last couple years. Every time they get off the field on third down, we seen it this year. We seen it the first few games. We seen it every time they were trying to get off the field. Third down, pass interference. Third down, this. It's like, darn. Some stuff borderline, and some stuff they just ain't calling on other teams, especially to interrupt what they're trying to do. But when Colorado do it, you took the air. The penalties took the air out of Colorado more than anything yesterday, last night, whatever you want to call it. Every time they would get a big run that they needed, holding. Every time they got a big anything, a big pass, it was called back. It was a handful of times that it did. One with Juju threw one. That's the end of the game, man. It's like 50-0. And it's a hard thing. If you're a ball player, it's a hard thing to really kind of figure out. Like, how do you play a game where you struggling, you fighting for your life, you down by 10, you down by 17, you down by 2. How do you come back from always having a penalty, man? How do you always find yourself in that situation? Let me know if y'all even here. Are y'all here? Are y'all in the building? In the building. How do you find yourself in a situation where you always Let me see. You always going backwards, and you getting beat. That's something that I don't like. I don't think that's fully in their control. I feel like yeah, they did some silly boneheaded stuff, some penalties, but doggone it, I don't like to see the lopsided in penalties. When you see a team go and get 14 penalties, like Arizona, I mean, this who you fooling? Arizona ain't no world beater. Oh, they just got to hold them. That's why they was holding because they just so big and so strong that they had to keep holding them. Come on, man. Especially when I'm watching you not call holding. When they not calling holding on the other team, and I always see Colorado DBs getting tossed up like tossed salad, getting held by the receivers. They don't call it. I always see them tackles holding our interior linemen. They turn their shoulder pass a whole across around their neck, and they don't call it. They don't call it. It's an ugly thing to see. When you already getting beat, it's like somebody kicking you when you down, and that kills. It's like every time you do something, like man, forget it. That puts you in a situation where you taking points off the board, you're not narrowing the gap of the game, you're not giving them room to breathe. And then you turn around and the other team comes score right behind you. And it's like, man, it's abusive. It's abusive. But outside of that, we can talk about a lot of things, man. I'm not even gonna do that today. I ain't even gonna be on here long. Cause what can we say, man? You kicking a dead horse. They having the same issues. Play calling on both sides of the ball. Personnel on both sides of the ball. Why are you splitting reps with Hayden in the back? Why is he not getting the most reps? Why is he not getting more hand snaps? The usage of your personnel I've been talking about for 2 years. Play calling, route running, the whole scheme itself. Not only is predictable, it's elementary for who you playing against. You're not playing against El Dodos. These are people who know what they're doing. You may not know what you're doing, but they know what they're doing. So you're very predictable. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they ain't even call it. They say he should have fought more. Man, shut that dumb mess up. You ain't saying anything about that when the other guys barely get touched and they call a whole touchdowns back week after week. When our receivers it remotely look like they're holding. I remember Amarion Miller every time. You talking about games you lost? Every time they would call Amarion Miller. All them times he wasn't holding. But you can tell when he wasn't when people shut up. Well, they ain't got nothing to say. They love to sell everything Colorado do wrong. But when they ain't want to admit. That's what I don't respect about them people on the broadcasting. They don't want to admit, okay, both sides. They don't want to admit when Colorado do wrong. But when they ain't Colorado do wrong, they hurry up and shut up and change the subject. Because they don't want to admit that. It's many times, week after week, and that's why I feel for Salter. Like, even this week, he threw a touchdown. They took it back from him. It looked like he only threw 49 yards. But you took back so many plays. And then Juju throw one, and they say, boot, it was a touchdown. Well, Buckets, I threw one too. They took it back. I also don't like the fact that, I'm just going to skip and jump around. Forget it. Turnovers is the issue. I seen them get turnover. I remember when Kamani was here against USC, and it could have beat USC. And Colorado had all the momentum. And he caught the ball, interception, stopped on the sideline, a mile away from it. And they say he was out of bounds or whatever. And it's like, those are momentum changing situations. And then you also look at the fact Colorado had an interception yesterday. Could have been something. They took that away from him. It's like they wouldn't give him nothing. You already playing garbage, and then you can't even get nothing to turn it around. They take that away from you. That's crazy. I watched Colorado have a few fumbles, and they kick it around like Little League. They don't know how to fall on a fumble. That's the crap you talking about, man. It's just fundamental stuff. You can't even recover a fumble. Like every time you get a break, you ain't even giving yourself a break. But the other team, they take advantage of it. Yeah. You're right. But I'm talking about JoJo on offense. He was kind of holding and threw his hands up to the ref. Might have not seen. Yeah, I mean, I remember that play. I remember that play. You know, but that's not all. That the point is, that's how the other teams hold ours. When they holding McKinney and all them, and he be doing all that turning, and they turn the cone on us. They be holding. They garbage, but they ain't that garbage. I ain't saying he would have made the tackle either, because they don't know. But I've seen many times when he be, and they just hold him like that on camera. They ain't calling that. It ain't all them long runs. They ain't just talking about yesterday. I'm saying it's a lot of things that you said you should have fought through. I don't watch them fight for their life, and it don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. So you got to look at the reality is this. I've said this the last 2 years after I seen the first year. The referee is not gonna help you. But when you talk about what's going on, when you talk about a team, I'm just gonna for like it's so much raggedness going on. I'm just gonna go ahead and end the show and just give y'all something worthwhile. With let's dig into something. Let's dig into something. Yeah, he put that out there. That's targeting. He wanted to be targeted, But hey, that's a whole nother thing. Because them commentators and them analysts, what you want to call them, they always be anti-Colorado. You listen to them. They sound almost like they be salivating for everything to go wrong for Colorado. It's weird. This team ain't even all that, but it's weird that the analysts just be so gung-ho about everything wrong Colorado. But I'm going to tell you this. Colorado got a lot of issues. Really, Schumer should have been gone. Or let him act like he got promoted or whatever. Let him leave. Like some of the other coaches he let left. Should have been gone. Then you also look at Livingston looked like he had a good season last year. Now I used to watch that. He took a lot of credit for a lot of stuff. I think Hilo had a lot to do. A lot of people feel like Hilo had a lot. I think Hilo would be a much better coordinator. For one, he's a college guy. Livingston is an NFL guy who's never been a coordinator at any of those levels. So coordinating things, you probably need some coordinating experience, right? Hilo is a guy who should be a coordinator. Period. Hilo is a guy who should be a coordinator. Bartoloni should have been his coordinator from jump, but they wanted to play politics. Bartoloni should have been Shadour's coordinator when they came over there, but he wasn't big enough name, so they went and got it was Sean Lewis, and it just looked like crap. Shadour, one of his better years was down there with Bartoloni, and guess what? Bartoloni used them tight ends. Shadour had 2 to 3 tight ends that was very active at Jackson State that last year. Talented tight ends for that level. One of them dropped the ball in the Celebration Bowl, like could have won the third overtime, but that was he went the wide open, falling over himself. But they had another one named Stevens, something like that. Very good tight end. Really, he could have played at this level. Honestly, he would have been a good tight end for Colorado. He had the size, and he had you could tell he knew what he was doing. He stayed at Jackson State. He could have been. That's one of the guys they probably should have bought. They would have had a tight end. He could have played it. And so you talk about Bartoloni used them tight ends and receivers and running backs and all that. He had a 1,000-yard rusher. He almost had 2,000-yard rushers. Even though you can say not Colorado, Jackson State was just way more talented than everybody. You can say that, but don't have to adjust to college to get it. Yeah, absolutely. But when you look at the fact that Bartoloni should have been the guy the whole time. Also, I think that Hilo should be the guy. Just his experience, his knowledge. He's a college guy for sure. But Bartoloni, when you talk about throwing the ball, there's no way he should not been Shadour's guy. But I guess he wanted to say pro style offense. They went with Pat Shermer. I guess Coach Prime was trying to get Shadour ready for the pros, and that was good for the resume. I get that. But Bartoloni should be the guy. unless you're gonna go and get Leftwich or somebody like. If you got somebody in your staff, because usually you want somebody at this point, you want somebody in your staff. You got somebody who been there. Bartolone don't coach the tight ends. He don't coach the receivers, and he's been one of your coordinators before. He proven. You should give him his shot. Yeah, of course, referees gonna give him problems at this point. Yeah, everybody gonna give him problems at this point because it's not about who you playing that's giving you the problem. You're giving yourself the problem because that's what I'm getting into. What I'm getting into is Colorado got the biggest problem. Colorado got. You can talk about Salter, Juju. The biggest problem Colorado got, they can't tackle, man. I've been talking about this, and I know exactly why, and I don't point out why. And this is, if it ain't got to them by now, I know they know. I heard even Neely saying it, talking about, but that's a big issue for them. Yeah, I can't say I can blame one player or not because they calling the flags. They ain't calling it evenly. You know, I don't know if it's Salter in the scheme because the scheme is throwing the ball sideways. The scheme is your receivers running routes in the same area. It's not like the receivers open like that. Like, yeah, it's some reads he can make in certain times, but a lot of them times the receivers ain't open. They're not running. I mean, you talking about, for one, your scheme is not really taking advantage of the middle of the field. Two, you running routes clearly. Yeah, I will hope that's the receiver making these mistakes. But then why are they still playing? As I watch week after week, receivers running routes they absolutely have no business running. You just know that ain't the route they're supposed to be running. They don't run mesh routes very well. They don't run any routes very well. Yeah. Yeah, schemes. You must don't know sports. Because schemes absolutely will make you throw interceptions. What are you talking about? That's exactly what I'm talking about. If two of your receivers run a freaking route right in the same area, and that one man can cover both, he can jump that route. That's what, did you not see them jumping them routes? They can take a lot more risk. You can take a lot more risk when when both your receivers run into the sideline. Nobody going to the middle field. This guy run a 10-yard out. This guy here running a square in, and they run into the same place. They run to the same area. Well, one guy he can go on there. He can say, I can cover this guy and the guy coming across. And then you throw the ball to the guy coming across. He jumped right up underneath it. And the guy who covering him, trailing him, he like you creating what they call robbers. You creating it by running the routes to the wrong place. You running these mesh routes. You running these routes where you getting a guy open, and instead of like freeing him up, you got routes running to the same area. So people either can jump that route or nobody gonna be open. Nobody gonna be open because you got somebody that's sent over there. You looking at guys. You looking at they running cover three. Let's say cover three for example. You got guys just sitting. You're not exposing the weak points in these defenses. You're actually playing into them. So I'm saying like you're not taking advantage of the weaknesses of the defense. None of your routes or nothing is taking advantage of that. That's a problem. That's a problem when you're running the same thing regardless who you playing. You're not trying to take advantage of their individual weaknesses, their personnel weaknesses, or just the scheme they're running. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have receivers blocking and stuff last year. We know they was better blockers. What is the correct scheme for Salter? The only thing that's correct for Salter is he should have went to somewhere like Navy or Air Force. That's the only scheme. So what you mean correct scheme? That's everybody. Salter will be running Georgia Tech type of offense. That's the type of scheme. But then do you build a scheme around him or do you get the right person for your scheme? That would be the question. Yeah, Salter will be in a scheme where he RPO all day, running options and stuff like that. Yeah, he would do that all day. But that's not what they had, and they knew that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to get to. As fast as he could. Yeah, he Shador, and not only did Shador not have to audible, his receivers they was running choice routes. See, they was already running choice routes. They was advanced enough to run choice routes. So guess what? If they saw the crap open, they ran choice routes. It just was up to them to be on the same page. See, that's what a lot of people don't know. Everybody kept talking about choice routes. Well, guess what? Them choice routes is better than this crap these boys doing, running dumb routes that they know ain't open. At least these your receiver smart enough, he can read the defense. And if he can read the defense, he gonna find an open spot, and Shador gonna find him if Shador get the time. And that's what made Shador so dangerous. Because if he can get the time, his receivers were smart enough. Travis always knew where to get open. Travis was always open. These boys wasn't just running these dumb routes that they coach tell them to run. They were smart enough to find the open spot on the defense. They knew they can look at the formation. They watch film. They just knew where to get open, and that's why they was open. But the problem is the line was getting pressure on it. Shador didn't have time to get it to him. But when he did, he made him pay. And that's the story of the season last year. Yeah. Okay. I think it's both. Okay. Let's just almost like change that first T to R, and then you would have been Ken Hart, and I would understand what you're saying because yeah, they can't tackle, but who put them on the field? Who coaching them to be able to tackle? I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into that. But also, you got the fact that if you line everybody up on the defensive line and you never doing no positionless defense like I thought they would do, and everybody just running to the gap and two people end up in the same gap or get pushed into the other gap and it's wide open trailer truck lanes up the road and there's nobody at the second level because you put everybody on the line. How they got to do with talent? If you always got people lined up in positions where then they not solid with gap control, why would you keep putting all your men on the line? And it never worked. It didn't even work last year. Y'all ain't stopped no running team with that approach. Why are you still doing that? But you say it's talent. That's a problem. I don't want to see K Star rest of the season. He probably won't. Friends coach because that's been the case. That's something he got to deal with. He loved Coach Hart. He talked about he down Coach Hart. He just did a story about that. What does Coach Hart got to go? He's not doing that. Like, oh yeah. It's a lot of quarterbacks that play great on other teams and won't do great in this scheme. Period. But it's also this scheme in itself ain't that good. Like it ain't too many people who do great in the scheme because the scheme garbage. But yeah, if you're running a true running quarterback, then go we'll run the doggone option to death. Yeah, he'll kill it. He'll kill it. Yeah. Why is Makai running bubble screen my lined up? Exactly. That's dumb because it should have been the other way around, right? They got Micah running the go route. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Personnel. It means one is competent will run correctly. Like one that is competent with. Yeah, yeah, but then you got to have personnel to match that. That we just said with Salter. Salter may match certain schemes, but he ain't matching Utah. You know, he probably would, probably better than what he doing there. But they quarterback running all over us. Yeah, they be smart, they would, but I don't know where his mind at. Thudding, yeah, yeah, ah, and Neela just made the comment on I saw it on the what is that DMVR. He talking about why they reaching. That's the first thing I see. When they tackle, they lead with their fingertips. They reach, like I say, they like bye 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 bye. They tackle with their arms outstretched because they're trained to do that. You training them to tag off at practice. You training them to tag off at practice, meaning their concept of tackling is with their hands. They're not thinking about putting their shoulder pads on you and wrapping you up. They're thinking about pulling you down. And see what happens when that arm, I keep calling it arm tackling. Instead of running through somebody and putting your body on them, you reach for them and they run right through your hands. Or they strip you down of you trying to pull them down like you wrestling. He said it to, I know somebody listening or something, because I've been saying that. Yeah, they've been doing legal formation. That's been pointed out. Let me tell you, they know how to tackle. They just freeze up. Man, please. You gonna sit and tell me these people know how to tackle and they don't. Every game they played, they showed they can't tackle. Even the ones they won. Every single one of these games, they showed you they couldn't tackle. Do you know what not tackling look like? 2014 or 2014 playmakers that made up for a lack of. Yeah, you did. You know that. You did. Because I just told you, if you got Jimmy and Travis and all them, they working out with Shador, and y'all saying Shador changing plays like that's bad. His receivers on the same page with him. Yeah, they made Schumer look better than what he did. Because he was putting them in bad situations. Clearly, you've seen it in certain games. But their talent in certain situations, when they met somebody talent for talent, that's when they caught them. That's when they caught up with them. When you had BYU, got a smart coach, and the players were just as talented, then that they couldn't take advantage of them as much because they schemed just for them. But that's why they was able to whoop Arizona last year and all them, because it's just those players had the talent and the knowledge to take advantage of those other teams. It wasn't that the coach put them in that situation, or that they outcoached the other teams. Like, even when you look at Baylor and the Shador threw that ball to LeJounte knew exactly where to be to get that ball. He just wasn't running around like, I hope Shador throw it to me. He put himself to be in position, and Shador threw it in one spot where only LeJounte could get it, and LeJounte was there. Exactly. They tackle like little kids. So when you look at tackling, I don't say it many weeks right here on this channel. Coach Prime refused to tackle at practice. He keeps saying, I know what to do. And he figured he gonna get to the season every year. We're gonna hit at this practice. We're gonna go down. Everybody live. Man, you wait till the 5th week, 6th week to do that. You had 5-6 weeks of off season, 5-6 months to work on tackling. And you refuse to do it. Somebody gonna get hurt. It's not like girls, like they playing like girls, and you sound like a girl. You sound like you got girls. They can't get hurt. First of all, you worry about them getting hurt in the spring. The season ain't until freaking August. What injury they gonna get that's that significant? Really? That's a freak incident where they that hurt where they can't play in August because you let them tackle each other in spring, in April. You didn't. What's going on in July, late July, early August, where you saying I don't want my players to get hurt in camp? Man, their body gotta get absolutely. Their body gotta get used to that, man. You gotta get used to getting hit. Me and you go out there and ain't get hit. DCU has more success. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I don't know what a lot of them get paid. Yeah, you're gonna get hurt, but it's like they get more hurt this year. I really would like to do a comparison to the number of guys. They always Swayze coming in. He different than Mo. Man, Mo didn't have. I mean, they got injured last year, but I don't see the difference. Their bodies, I feel like they getting hurt more. They got defensive guys who ain't played the whole year, man. It didn't come because they was hitting at practice necessarily. And if they did get hurt at practice, what you stop? You was not letting them go down, and they still got hurt. Cause some of these guys ain't seen get in the game and they hurt, like Shador or something. Like, you ain't even in the game, you got injuries. They are not out there hitting like that, where you say they can't go down. These boys got to get used to tackling, and these running backs got to get used to being tackled. Now, do I want you doing some crazy crap and going low? No. But doggone it, you need to be out there getting familiar with yourself. So when you get out there and you wonder why they keep reaching with their hand, you told them to tag off for 4 or 5 months. So their idea of tackling is start with the hands, not the body. If they was him with their helmet and shoulder pad, see, we got spoiled last year. Hill Green, he didn't come with that dumb philosophy. He came from other schools. And he came here, bow. Everybody noticed. Woo! Why was that so unique? Because the other linebackers want to do it. Bentley would hit every now and then. But Bentley was always in the wrong place. So they go back to coaching. Because these linebackers this year are the same way. They run over. You run over there. They run over there whether the ball there or not. They see some people run that way. They run that way. They don't really work for crap. I ain't never seen nothing like it in my life. Your job is to read. Boom, boom, boom. You don't supposed to take off running and before you even know the ball there, and then the ball over there, and then both running backs don't went this way, and then both linebackers both of them went that way. Not the front, not the play side backer and the backside scraping for just in case, some bounce back this way or he cut back. Both of these fools run that way, and you wonder why they running all these 60-yard touchdowns on basic runs. Because they ain't got nobody there. Your whole line run that way. Your end barely ever keep contained. And he out there, the doggone DB don't got ran off, or he missed the tackle. The safety is the only person left. Ain't no linebacker. I always say, what are linebackers? You ain't backing no line. You ain't backing no line. Soft play, and you wonder why they play soft in the game. You made them boys soft, man. He hit them. You have block bully in the middle, and you look like you. Oh, Livingston just came at the right ear. Oh, he's so smart. Livingston was smart because Livingston lost that Kansas State game, man. There's no way that Colton Hood should not been on that field instead of a Hodge, who been getting Crisco toast the whole last year and this year. Hodge ain't got no business covering nobody, especially on no island. Like I don't barely want him at nickel. He let people go across his face slanting. He good with certain stuff, but he can't cover no slant. But I definitely don't have him at no cornerback. How you got Hodge at cornerback and you got Hood over there on the sideline? And Hood don't already picked off a ball. He don't did this, he don't did that. How you do that? Yeah, man, you go out there, man. You go out there. First of all, you go out there running. Then you go out there with a helmet for a few days. At least 2 days. With your helmet on it, just your bobblehead, so your neck be sewed in the mud, man. Your neck be sewed, man. Your neck be sewed. My neck was twice as big as this playing ball. Just all because you got the helmet on. Them muscles in that neck got to be able to support that. Then you hitting somebody with it. It's enough that you got a weight on your head, 10-pound weight on your head. That's a dangerous thing if that neck not strong. Then you go out there and hit, boom. Now your neck got a backlash with that head. It's one thing your head step. That's another thing with 10-pound weight on it. Multiple times. Your neck got to be strong, man. So how do you do that? How do your body get used to that if you ain't doing that? It means you go out there and had that one hit, boy, we feel like we don't been on 285 out there. One. I mean, your body being shocked. Yeah, what is that? Because your neck ain't got used to that weight, and then it don't had to hold that weight. One time and had your neck messed up because you didn't get to go through the stage of soreness and all that. So how do you keep letting them not do that and then put them out there in the game? Your mind, somebody freeze up. Somebody they freeze. Yeah, they don't freeze up. They freeze up. Yeah, they know how to tackle. You right. In theory, they know how to tackle because they don't did this freaking crap. How they get here? Hopefully they got tape. They got them here. But if you ain't did it in 3 months, or you do it every now and then, yeah, you will freeze up. You will freeze up too because you gonna second guess it because it's not second nature to you to run into somebody with your helmet. They big as strong as you. You would freeze up. You would close your eyes. You will duck down because you ain't doing that. If I took your butt in the boxing ring and you ain't trained to be a boxer and somebody swinging at you, of course you're gonna be a little more paranoid. Of course you're gonna be more scared than somebody every day and they taking hits and they sparring. You challenge them to a fight. They're like, shoot, come on! I do this every day. You fight somebody who do fight for a living. They ain't scared to fight you. They fight every day. Your boxing look like the Matrix. Everything you throw look like slow motion to them. Cause they do these drills every day. They do this. Mike Tyson the average man ain't finna hit Mike Tyson. You'll run your mouth all day. He is not afraid of you. I don't care how big you are. This is what he do. He do it every day. You supposed to make your freaking linebackers, your football players feel like this is what I do every day. These clowns don't do that. And then they want to look dumb when you can't play. If you're a linebacker, it should be second nature to hit somebody in the mouth. I say that's how I know you ain't worth a crap as a coach when you go out there and your DBs and your linemen tackle the same way. Your lineman diving at people's ankle. Your lineman arm tackle. Your 400-pound lineman tackle like your 170-pound DB. That's unheard of. That's how you know they up on the same soft coaching. They look like they don't want to hit nobody. They look like they don't want to. You're a big old wildebeest and you arm tackling the running back. This is how I know Colorado soft. Cause ain't no quarterback scared to run against them. Back in the day, this quarterback was scared to run because they like he gonna get hurt. They don't care who it's been. I don't care if they was the third string quarterback playing, everybody got hurt. True freshman quarterback, they done ran all over Colorado. You would be a fool to tell me I'm lying. Name one team that the quarterback ain't have a career day on Colorado. They wasn't scared of nothing because they know at best they're going to get hugged. At best they're going to get a hug. At best they're going to get wrapped around their waist and pulled to the ground as a little quarterback dragged 3 soft linemen holding on to his jersey. Just like that boy who number 12 who ran through 4-5 arm tackles at like the second, third play of the game last night. You think he was afraid of getting hit? He looked like he was playing flag football. He running so hard. He knew they wasn't finna hit him. He ain't flinched not one. He caught that ball. I'm gone. These folks think we playing flag football out here. He did not flinch. And everybody was slapping him. Pow, pow. He down, coach. I touched him. Like you do at practice. Really, Yates been outplaying since he got in the game, man. The last couple weeks, Yates done outplayed all of them. They keep him. He the best quarterback. Yates, ever since he don't hit the field, he been outplaying them. He don't make a play every game. Yep. This is not your team. Too many issues. Go make moves on your favorite team. I don't know what that clown talking about. Oh, he talking about go make moves. Y'all gotta get over Hood. He didn't want to be here. You don't know what he wanted to. You just sound like you. Do you know anything about Hood? You don't know if he wanted to be here. I've heard it. I mean, it's different stories out of how you know. Vincent looked like trash, now killing the number 2 team in the nation. Now Thorpe finals. This sound like somebody who know. His best linebacker by a mile got ran off. And see, and this is what nobody. Everybody want to talk all that. Just be careful what you say or your tone here, because let me tell you something. Benson was trying to be a leader. They moved him from right tackle to the right guard. It wasn't his true position. They act like he couldn't play it, right? He probably lost confidence, whatever. All the way down to the end of the season, he wasn't even playing. He went back to Indiana, and with your team that won last year, I said he should have stayed. And he went back and got a starting role. Because this is not his same coach he played for. See, this coach came when he left. So he went and got a starting role with the coach on a winning team. So that should tell you something, right? Hood, y'all can say what you want. Hood ain't do nothing but perform last year. And let me tell you something. Let's be real. Coach Prime he didn't like Hood. Just like they say people don't like Shedeur. I'm gonna be real. I'm just gonna take the fan stuff out the way. If I wasn't a Colorado content person, I'll tell y'all this. Who am I? Y'all know y'all don't pay me. Y'all don't scare me. So Hood and Hill Green had something in common. Coach Prime he wasn't a favorite. They wasn't a favorite. And you could tell because anytime they said something good about Hood, it was always like a brush off. Yeah, he did this, that. It was not, he a dog. He a first rounder. You didn't really hear that same passion he had from McKinney for Hood for whatever reason. Maybe Hood personality didn't click with him. Maybe he didn't kiss enough butt. It's like, I thought the Coach Prime can assimilate with all guys and just help guys. But it seemed like you got to have a certain temperament for him. Because I saw the same thing with Hill Green. I heard people make comments, and I seen the body language like when Hill Green, Coach Prime was interviewed like that little, what is Romy, Rome, whatever her name. Hill Green was on there, and Prime, the body language. You never, it was hard for Coach Prime to make a compliment towards Hill Green. It was hard. And I saw that. And I'm not a liar for the fans' sake. I still support what they do, but I'm not a liar. Some of y'all frauds, man. Y'all sit up there and y'all play favorites, and y'all want to point out other people who play favorites when you play favorites. No, I don't do that crap. Y'all weak behind do that. I'm not looking to say I can't say nothing because I support him because he's wrong. And if you really was somebody, you would be able to point out. That's how fake y'all are. You fake. Because that's why people, you say you love somebody, why you can't tell them the truth? If you for somebody, you should be able to tell them the truth. I should be able to tell Colorado the truth. Y'all too weak and whatever to know the difference. Y'all the problem. Because he say he want to hear the truth, and I think he do to an extent. But I think some of the stuff he don't want to hear the truth on. And I don't. He didn't like Hill Green. We saw it. He didn't ever have anything good to say about Hill Green. As good as Hill Green played, he didn't sell Hill Green. He sold certain players. And I think that, you kind of see that with Shedeur. And you're like, well, people do that. You can't say that because you do it too. People say Coach Prime the favorite. I've never been the one to say that. But I get where they come from. They may come from a malice standpoint and a tone, the dog. I'm not saying it from a dog. I'm saying it from the truth. The truth is, he could have kept Hood there if he had been as excited about having him there as he was McKinney, because McKinney ain't never been good as Hood. Yet McKinney started over Hood. He ain't never produced what Hood did. He ain't doing it this year. He never have. McKinney was never that good to me. But Coach Brown, he was getting burnt up all in the well, all off. And Hood was on the bench. Hood came in when Travis got hurt, and Travis came back, and Hood came in and out or whatever. He never showed that, hey, Hood, you the man next year. You're a first round draft pick. He never did that. So say the mess. It is what it is. Say the mess. Like, nah, I'm not gonna tell that lie. And Hill Green, some people say he had to leave. I believe that's a lie. I don't believe that's the truth. His grad year. Well, how Shiloh come to his grad year and do a COVID year? Shiloh did 2 extra years, and he didn't have to leave Colorado to do that 5th year. I mean that extra year. Cause Colorado Hill Green did his 5th year here. And I guess he's doing a COVID year or something like that at Alabama. Shiloh didn't have to leave Jackson State, first of all. He came and did his 5th year. He didn't have to leave to do that extra year. He did both of them at Colorado. So I don't think that's the case. I don't think that that's the case that Hill Green had. I just know he didn't feel for Hill Green like that. He didn't like Hill Green like that. Yeah. Yeah. They didn't. It's like they always want to dog Hill Green out, but Hill Green was a true middle linebacker. And now you got these so-called athletic linebackers who can't read and ain't hit nobody. So you should have had both. You should have kept Hill Green and then got your athletic linebacker. But his so-called athletic linebackers, silly goofball, they run like blind bats, chase anything like a hound dog. They just chase anything they hear. They don't even know if it's real or not. Peekaboo, take off. They take off running. Bentley would hit you if he was hitting the right thing. He wasn't a fundamental sound linebacker. He would hit you. He's like a broke clock. It's right at least 2 times a day. Bentley would get there on a blitz, but you really need somebody to read or cover. He couldn't cover. Who was the QB Shiloh hit last year? Couldn't get up. I don't know, man. Shiloh hit so many feet. I said Shiloh was at safety. A lot of this stuff won't go on because he at least have an intimidating factor. They don't even fear getting hit, man. I ain't heard too many hits this year. Like, ooh, what was that? I've not heard it. Whether from the D line or from DBs, I have not seen nobody that's knocked nobody block off. That's what the team missing. Trevor Wood is also a draft prospect. That's interesting. Now I can't speak on Trevor Wood, but maybe he's part of these schemes, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he's doing now, but you probably could have used Trevor Wood. I mean, you using Ben, so you probably would have used Trevor Woods. Why he didn't like Hood, I don't know. I Hood kind of, just looking at Hood, like everybody got different personalities. Hood he look quiet, but he got that little sarcastic look on him. He got that little smart mouth look. He look quiet, but you can tell how he play. He got an edge on him, so he edgy. So behind the scenes, he probably got a little mouth. You know what I'm saying? And he probably is not as passive or submissive. That's the problem. Coach Prime said he want dogs, but a lot of these guys that he like is passive. And I played for coaches like that. Like, even when I was quiet, I wasn't passive, and they can feel that. And a lot of coaches don't like that because you look docile, but they can tell you ain't for the nonsense. So they can't control you, as they can't just tell you anything. They feel you question them, or you will question them. And I think Hood might have been that type of dude. Just different personality. And I think Hill Green was like that too. Hill Green was very vocal when he came in. He was very at all the means. They say he was a student of the game. That could be intimidating to you. You say you want a dog, but then you get a guy like that, and that rub you the wrong way. You feel like he challenging you. You feel like he disrespecting you because he's not like the other kids who walk around like that. You know what I'm saying? Or don't question you. I think both of those guys would question you. They probably made comments behind the scenes. You know, what's going on? I love CC in the building. Look at that. Yeah, Wilson at Ohio State doing. Yeah, they got some people gonna need some jobs. There's gonna be a lot of action. A lot of coaches lost their jobs, and that means the staff's gonna change up. They don't care. Yeah, they look like they don't care. They look like they don't care. Let's see. Uh, Seems like the best we're gonna see out of them this year. I mean, yeah. What you see is what you get. Yeah, I think let's be real, man. That's the thing. Like with the fake folks, don't come on my channel with the fake mess. Cause I mean, y'all should know by now. Let me be real with you. Everybody got their favorites. I listen to content creators who call out Coach Prime for having favorites, and they got favorites because they talk hard about certain players. They don't give the same grace to other players. But they don't see that. That's how blind people work. They'll be like, oh, he garbage. He need to be on the bench. But then this guy do the same thing or worse. Well, that one told his fault. Well, he did, but he can do better. They always find the good in that person. If they didn't like that person, but they can bury him. They could bury him like other people are doing. But they like, oh, Salter ain't did nothing wrong right there. Salter do 100 things wrong, and he do 5 things right. And they're like, they're like, oh, yeah, he did this, he did that. But you ain't going hard on when he do wrong. But some other players, you go hard on them, right? And then you'll turn around and you'll call Coach Prime out for going hard on certain players like a Hood. And these players come behind the scenes and tell him. And then he ain't as hard on McKinney. He ain't as hard on Jordan Seaton. He ain't as hard on, Draylon or whatever. They let certain people get away. Everybody do that crap. That's the biggest flaw coaches have. Every coach got to look themselves in the mirror and make sure they don't do that. Because some people, maybe your little spirits connect. Like, why you like Ben? So when you let Ben play, but don't let this guy play, that's favoritism. It's all favoritism. When you got a soft spot for certain people. That's being human. But don't sit up there and be no hypocrite like you ain't doing the same thing. Because if I listen to you long enough, I'm listening like, well, Dawn, you real soft on this dude. Yes, sir. You real you got a lot of mercy on this dude. But this dude over here, you ain't got the same kind of patience. And that's real. Yeah, he may be more so. Coach Hart should be gone. But this man got history with Coach Hart. He shouldn't have emotions, but he human. He talking about how they had to bail each other out, bail him out of jail, and they been with this guy since Pee Wee Lee. He ain't finna just fire him as quick. And he said, oh, he need to fire his friends. That's easy said than done, because these people are not only his friend, they his family. And that's a problem. Maybe that's why you don't hire, but that's a problem. You know, at the end of the day, that's a problem. Because that's what you're going to do. Hill Green left because he didn't want to play in the bowl. Maybe if he didn't want to play in the bowl, it's because he wanted to leave. That's what people typically do when they want to leave. Probably didn't like, well, it looks that way. Much deeper than trust. Yeah. He always talk about trust. And I think somebody like Coach Prime probably value trust because he's not a regular coach. He is a celebrity. So just any old dude can't work with him. He only gonna go with dudes who've been working with him for 20 years because it's not only football, it's his personal life he gotta be able to trust you with. You see, it's a lot of stuff that he gotta take in consideration as a coach and as a public figure. So that would limit him working with strangers too. Because celebrities gotta also think about who can they trust around them, because he's just not a coach. He gotta know, can I trust you personally with his flaws? And he know these guys, he can trust them. A clown listen to this got a problem that they're a straight clown. And I'm calling that. If you can't comprehend that, You can't comprehend how much I break it down. Your mind ain't capable of understanding it. You can go to a simple channel. We say go to a simple channel because that's where we at with it. Yeah, I mean, as people talk about this, they say Trevor Woods started over Hill Green. They talked about how Sylvan Craig was on the bench, and they saw how Bayard was on the bench. They say it's a trend, and they said it's a good thing. Yeah, you can consider it's a good thing saying they got opportunity, but it's also a bad thing from a personnel standpoint that you didn't catch that your biggest players didn't start the season. Like, I mean, what are you looking at? How are you coming to your decision? Because these same players you losing. You lost Hood that didn't start. You lost um uh Hill Green that didn't start. I don't know if you lose Bayard, but you losing these guys. Yeah, he always had a tough time with Mario Miller because Mario Miller be doing at practice or something. All the way back to his freshman year, he ain't never really. I thought Mario Miller could have had a chance of being going after the first year, but he hung around for 2 more years. I think that he liked Shedeur them last year, and I think this year he thought he'd be his year. But people like that, you can lose them because they don't have nothing tied to you. Yeah, yeah. Just like I didn't read that. Just like I was saying, Amarion was a Shedeur guy, and so it's the fact he stayed this year was interesting. Nobody left. Then yeah, nobody knows. Never. Yeah, but it ain't on there today. He wasn't one of Coach Prime favorites. That's a fact. That was pointed out before he left. And you can't find one clip showing that Coach Prime will ever give. As good as he played, it was hard for him to get any kind of. It's like Shedeur. It's hard for that boy Shafansky or whatever to give Shedeur any praise. Anytime Shedeur was good, well, all of them did well. When you see a coach do that, they telling on themselves. When they cannot say something good, when you say, "Well, Shedeur played good today," well, yeah, he did well. All of them did well. Dylan did well too. It's like, why every time he do something, you got to package deal him with everybody else? And that's how he did with Hill Green. It was where Hill Green is a dog. He's a pro. You're not hearing that. You're not hearing that same energy as he do with certain players. Charlotte probably didn't want to leave. Sure he didn't. I mean, he liked it there, but I mean, yeah, yeah. People run their mouth, man. Too many NFL sabotage on CU. I mean, hey, they doing what they can do, man. Arizona's going. Well, he left, so we're gonna keep getting blown out, I guess. Yeah. Hey, man, I couldn't have predicted they gonna do stuff over the last 2 weeks. He looking good. Who seen him play? I ain't seen him play. I mean, but it is what they say, a lower level. So what they say, but he in the right scheme. A lot of people look different. That's what you see in the pros too. If you get drafted to the wrong team where they got you in a certain situation that's not your strength, or a certain package is not your strength, it can mess you up. Scheme is very important. It can expose you or it can make you. If you're playing well. Yeah. Where that sweet clown come from? Who is that? Uh, yeah, y'all don't jump to the other stuff. Look, better keep Yates. I don't know. Yates might be getting some tape. No leadership. Let's see. I'm just catching up. I didn't realize all this was down here. Coach Hart is not the problem. Livingston. Okay. Oh, you must have a lot of linebacker play. For 3 years, he on two different coordinators, and the linebacker still can't tackle. So I'm not 10. I was hoping for another season. Yeah, yeah. Takes the blunt of the embarrassment of the clown show. I mean, but hey, he the one hiring and firing, man. You're always gonna take it because it's like at the end of the day, it all go back to you. If they say the coordinator bad, you hire them. If they say the players bad, your team, you hire to recruit them, and you recruit them. So it's like it all go back to you. This is their last season, a bad last season. You can forget about them pros. And so Hayes killing at A&M. Hayes kept being hurt too though, but he sure got up out of here. He sure got up out of here. Charlo was a terrible tackler. Yeah, but he led the team in tackling in the conference his first year. But yeah, that's terrible. I don't know what you call terrible. You got opinion that he was there. He may not been the best tackler, but you can't say terrible when he led the team in tackling the first year there and was top in the conference. You can have it now. You're gonna move to go and say why, but if you was a terrible tackler, how you get them in the tackles? You don't do that and be a terrible tackler. He just don't tackle the way you feel like he should tackle. But he was very sound tackler, especially that first year. And then the second year he was hurt. Forearm. The coaching staff has problems evaluating talent. Some going on, figuring out Miller is not a slot receiver. And Byatt haven't been started in the beginning of the season. Some are. It's a rebuild. At this point it is. It is supposed to be for the ball away to protect himself. Yeah, he know how to throw the ball away. I think a lot of quarterbacks know how to throw the ball away. It's not they should do it and know how to throw the ball away. It's just that he wasn't finna. It's a reason why the man had a 70% passing completion percentage, and he was in history because he didn't throw the ball away. Because if he threw the ball away with poor blocking every time that somebody got through, he would have had a 50%. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? He got. I mean, he. You call it selfish. You can call it whatever. What do you do? Hell, hit the recruiting trail at this point. Yeah. Shiloh was always getting a penalty on third down. I don't remember he always getting nothing. But I do know plenty of the players got penalties on third down, which I've already said in the beginning, because that was the way that they manipulated the Colorado. That's how they lost most of the games first year off of penalties, because they either gave the team a first down, extra chance, and they usually would score, get a field goal, and they would lose by a field goal. That's how they controlled the game. And Kansas State, you talking about Kansas State, that was his first game back after breaking his forearm. What are we talking about? We know, everybody knows that is a known game. But you gonna say he's a poor tackler based off of one game? You go out there and come back a few weeks after breaking your forearm and see how you tackle. He probably shouldn't have been out there. It's a lot of things you can say, but to say he's a poor tackler because of that, when I just clearly told you his first year there, he led the team in tackling. He was one of the top in the conference. So how are you a poor tackler if you missing tackles? How do you miss all the tackles and then still be the leading? I mean, the man had I don't know how many tackles. But you can't not be a good tackler and be leading the tackles. They don't even go hand in hand. But that's the situation with Colorado. Colorado is not a great tackling team, and it goes back to their practicing habits. It goes back to Coach Prime, and that's why he turned around in the middle of the year and go, oh, we're gonna hit this week. Cause why you want to do it now? You ain't worry about them getting hurt now. It's game week. You more worry about them getting hurt 3 weeks before the game than you are the week of the game. That lets you know. But you did it last year and you did it this year. You need to let them boys be physical if you want a physical team. And that one thing I can say he should know. All that he know about football. Yeah. All that you know about football. You know good and doggone well, if you're gonna be a physical team, they gotta practice physical. You say you play like you practice. Your team practice soft. Your team practice touching each other. So if you, because when you talk about tackling, you can learn who can, and they learn how to take angles. You teaching me to take an angle to touch the man. That's exactly why they breaking all these runs. You teaching me it's a difference between me taking the angle to tag somebody off and reach for him, and you say oh, that wasn't a tackle, or they arguing in practice that wasn't a tackle. You're right because he reached, or taking an angle and plummeting somebody. Those are what you call quality reps. You getting those reps at practice. You learning which is the best angles to get to the man to make the tackle versus you going out there saying tag you it or pulling the flag because this ain't flag football. If flag football, these boys be undefeated because they know how to tag off. They know how to pull the flag. But to take a man down, the whole team went over there and touched that man over there on that touchdown. 12-yard run. I mean number 12. Caught a simple pass and took for like 60 yards. The whole team tagged off on him just like he taught them at practice. Everybody went over there and touched him. He ran all the way to the end zone. They ain't even clip him up, grab his shoestring or nothing. They ain't even trip him up. That come from not tackling. I think that's Colorado's biggest issue. Because at best, you say good juju now. At best, you got is a shootout if your defense can't tackle a basic cross routes, slant routes, jet sweeps, and go for 40, 50, 60 yards. We got the week because they go through 4, 5. You want to be real with you want to point out Shiloh. The whole freaking team did that against Kansas State. That's why they lost. None of them tackled well that game, including Hill Green that we talk about so great. We talking about Shiloh. Shiloh missed tackle. All of them. Why did they lose to Kansas last year? None of them was tackling worth of good. They get in the backfield. Big Matt Neal. Ain't heard that from him all year. Your boy Wester. They get in the backfield, touch the man, play patty cake with him, then let him run through 5 more players. Like y'all tagging them off. That's how they lost to Kansas. Oh, Kansas was so big. He was so big. Why was he in the backfield? Colorado lived in the backfield, and they couldn't tackle the doggone running back. They could touch him, but they couldn't tackle him. So you looking at a team that couldn't tackle year after year. We know they couldn't tackle the first year. They couldn't tackle last year, even with a 9-4 record. While y'all name calling, you proving the point that they couldn't tackle last year. Now they can't tackle this year. What's the common factor? You have 2 different coordinators. Now last year they scored more points. This year they scoring less, but the can't tackle is still there. And it has a lot to do with your culture and your coaching style. But your culture is soft, man. You're not letting people hit and wrap up, go to the ground. Don't go to the ground. Beep, 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 beep. Well, what you think will happen in the game, fool? You teaching them how to wrap somebody but can't take them to the ground. They don't even know how to take them to the ground. Because they ain't did it since they've been in Colorado. They ain't been allowed to take nobody to the ground. They ain't did it since high school. And now he supposed to go out there and doggone run through somebody, but you ain't let him do it in practice even 3 months before the season start. You don't want nobody to take nobody down. Come on, man. You letting these guys not get hit. The whole offseason, you don't want nobody to go down to the ground. And then you wonder why in the game, that's exactly what you're dealing with. Yeah. Yeah. Patty Cake. Y'all know we've been talking about Patty Cake over a year, man. We talking about Patty Cake last year this time. Well, we not talking about Patty Cake. The O-line, D-line. That's amazing. That's been a year, man. The physicality on the defensive line, offensive line ain't been there. That's bigger than the weight room, man. You know when you get physical, you do that junk at practice, man. You get in the habit of being aggressive, man. I put all these scrubs on the wrestling mat, man. These big tough guys, man. They tough, man. They cuss, they rough, but then they get in the game. And then this ain't that new. I've seen it in high school. I've seen it everywhere. It's all about habits, man. You gotta put these guys in off season on the wrestling mat and let them dog each other out. get tired and sweaty and learn some leverage and stuff like that. That's why the best players was wrestlers. Block Bully was a wrestler. You know, you got to let these guys. Block Bully wasn't finna get pushed around like that. But he was that before he got to Colorado. Ain't none, man. All these boys got to come back if they want to have a chance. From a performance, from a record, from just a reputation, they toast. This is the wrong time they got gonna have a bad year. You see, they had a decent year last year, and only the main ones got drafted. They ain't drafting like that. Period. They sure ain't trying to give it to Coach Prime. They don't even want his son to play. So you coming out this year, all these on their 40 seniors, y'all toast, man. You want to be selfish, you didn't think about that, but you ain't. You just ended your career. Canada ain't gonna even want you. UFL ain't gonna want you. It's done. Y'all, I'm in it right now. It's not looking good for these seniors, but I don't even know what these underclassmen are gonna do because that spirit gonna roll over. I'm telling you. You can they going with the senior. No, man, it's something there in that staff and in that place, man. They don't get it right. That junk will roll over, man. These same players gonna come back. They say they're losing spirit. That junk will go back with you, man. You can't hang your hat on what you're doing. Travis did forever, and people want to underestimate and undervalue that. Can't. You ain't got them kind of players. Your recruiting team ain't found them kind of players. So I'm leaving it at that. Mr. Greg said it, y'all. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Check out the banner at the bottom. Got a little Facebook thing going on. We got the Facebook page, Colorado Buffalo Football Updates. Y'all check that out. Colorado Buff NFL Takeover. Yeah, you got those different things. You on Facebook, check those out. Y'all be able to see some things. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. It's 3:40. What we talking about? Y'all have a good one.